We're back in the kitchen with Shanoa French from the Culinary Innovations team. And Shanoa, holidays are approaching, and you're bringing us a recipe, I understand, that uses beef in a wonderful new appetizer.
It is. It's actually our play on cranberries and holiday stuffing.
Sure.
So in an appetizer format, you can serve at any type of party you want. The great thing about this is we're going to actually talk about something that's kind of on trend right now is the custom grinds.
Oh.
So that's where we're going to start. A lot of people have their favorite cut of meat,
okay,
and they want to be able to use it in different ways. It's not something that you have a ribeye steak that you can only put on the grill. So what we're going to do is we've created a custom blend, a meat blend, and we're going to make just traditional meatballs after we've done that.
Very good.
So our blend is, it's a little bit of brisket,
okay,
a little bit of ground beef,
yes,
and a little bit of ribeye. So a little bit of that extra fat flavor for you. And
All
I'm going to go
together.
ahead, mix together. I'm going to throw gloves on just so we can work through this, but at home you don't need to.
Yeah, I have to admit I've not done any of my own custom grinds, but interesting concept.
Yeah, and so if you walk into the grocery store or into your meat counter and you can tell them, you can ask for them to grind this for you.
Sure.
This recipe is kind of a small amount, so they might not want to do that for you, but you can do it at home in a food processor or a Cuisinart. Most people have these at home. So we're going to dump this meat in here. The most important thing with this is that to make sure that your pieces are all about the same size to start with.
Okay.
I know sometimes when you go into the grocery store, you can get a coarse grind or a chili grind or a fine grind, and making sure that your pieces are all about the same time or size to start with will kind of help make that process happen. So the last little guys are our ribeyes.
And about how much total are you using?
This is a pound.
A pound total.
So yeah, and we're going to end up making 24 little meatballs, and so they are the appetizer 3 or 4 to a piece. So like I said, just stick them in there. The trick to this is going to be your pulse button.
Okay.
So make sure everything's locked in. You're just going to pulse it.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to slowly...
You got to wrestle to the ground, don't you?
Stick them on the counter, and you're going to pulse them until it goes to the grind that you want. And you notice it kind of has to grab them at a different size.
Yes.
But once you've got them all ground in there, you're just going to take your lid off. And you can kind of move them around if they're setting on the blade where they need to, and you can see that they're kind of mixing. I'm going to do it one quick more little time. Make sure we really get this going in here.
That's amazing. I've never done that. Whoa, we got locked up here.
Not sure what I did here.
It's all right. Hit a piece of bone or something on.
There's no bone in there. Yeah. So
you always fillet the ribeyes before you put them in the Cuisinart. That's always good.
So we're going to show you how you mix the rest of these meatballs together from that. But if you continue to use the pulse button, it'll grow, and you can see there's tiny little pieces in here.
Right.
And that'll give you a different bite in the size of your meatball.
Really?
Yeah. So the more that you process it all the way down and it gets smoother in there, the bite will be much softer. And you leave them a little bit bigger, you'll have a more a chew to your meatball.
Oh, interesting.
So that's the one thing to think about. Yeah. So what we're going to do, and the nice thing about having a big bowl here is then we can just mix directly in this bowl.
Sure.
So standard meatball recipe, which is really simple. A little bit of garlic. So you're going to start with crushed garlic. If you don't want to use fresh, you can go ahead and use powder or granulated.
Okay.
That'll go in there.
Yes.
A little bit of pepper.
Pepper, absolutely.
Stack that in there.
Good.
This calls for 1 egg. I went ahead and beat it before we put it in here, but you can add it. Again, we've talked about before is that you don't want to overmix sometimes.
Okay.
So that's why I usually mix it up ahead of time.
Sure.
And then it's a little bit of water. You can't see that in there, but there's 3 tablespoons of water in there.
Okay.
And then what makes this some of our mini Mary is that you're going to take your standard stuffing mix.
Oh, really?
So a prepackaged stuffing mix. A lot of people use these around the holidays.
Sure.
Mix a couple different things into them. And that is going to be kind of your binder or your breadcrumbs that you would normally add into meatball
Brings
mix.
a separate flavor itself, too.
And it really brings that smell of the sage without having to add another bunch of ingredients. So then you would just basically take this, mix it in with your hands.
Yes.
And the thing is you're going to make 24. Most of the time when you're making meatballs, you make them a little bit bigger.
Yes.
But I like to say that these should be about the size of a large gumball. Little kid. So you need 24 out of a pound, which is bigger than normal. So you get all these and you put them on a baking sheet like normal, bake them in the oven for 16 to 20 minutes so they're nice and golden brown, 160 degrees internally. And then you're going to serve them over here.
Wow.
And as we talked about the holiday, bringing that theme in, the sauce that's in the middle there is it's a homemade cranberry barbecue sauce.
I wondered what was making it so red.
Yeah. So it's whole fresh cranberries. And you're adding a normal barbecue sauce ingredients. It's ketchup, molasses, brown sugar, a little bit of water, butter, some onions, and you're gonna put it on the stove in a stock pot and let it cook and simmer down for about 20 minutes. And then the trick to get that real nice shine to it and real smooth texture is you're gonna run it through a blender.
Oh.
So, and the trick is that you wanna use while it's still warm, so it'll process through a little bit easier.
Wow.
But you'll run it through a blender, and then you can serve the meatballs and cranberry barbecue sauce together.
What a unique way to utilize beef in an appetizer with a lot of the ingredients you're already going to have at holiday time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing this idea to us. For this and other outstanding recipes, visit beefitswhatsfordinner.com, or you can go to our website at cattlemenandcattlemen.org.